Welcome, everyone. Good, happy Sunday morning. Welcome to Ziraat class. And so I begin these classes with an invocation to the goddess uh, that feels somehow appropriate for Ziraat and our attunement to Mother Earth. And this is in the chat window for you if you're unfamiliar with it. It's called Sakina. In your presence, Divine Mother, the embodiment of all that is holy, birther and cherisher of the worlds, illuminate our prayers, guide our lives, and hold us ever in your perfect heart. Amen. Amen, amen. So, I think most of you are familiar with Ziraat, but I like to give just a brief introduction that Ziraat is a ray of an activity that Inayat Khan brought to his Sufi order, to the school of Sufism that we follow here. And it's really an inner mystery school of this particular activity, even though it seems very outer, because we're looking and connecting with nature as our teacher and the elements and how really it helps inform us in how our inner lives can be changed and uh, touched by the world around us, by all of these elements that are around us that make up who we are. So there's really an amazing way to connect with the divine through this physical world of ours and our Mother Earth. And so there's lots of different ways to explore this journey of Ziraat. And I always set up an altar, which is similar to the altar that Inayat Khan suggested for the Ziraat ceremony. There's a Ziraat Lodge ceremony that was given before he died. And so really, we just have each of the elements represented here with the earth with some stones and a seed. We have water from the river near my house. We have a candle going for fire, and then some feathers for air. And then ether is represented by the incense burning on the table. So it's really a beautiful way to connect with these elements. And uh, for the series of classes we're doing right now, we're attuning to each of the senses, the five senses that allow us to experience this world around us. And for this class, we'll be focusing on the sense of touch. And I'm very happy to be joined by my co-leader, Sarah, who will be bringing us through her garden and experiencing touch in the garden, which is so lovely. So yeah, touch is really such an amazing way that we can experience nature. We can close our eyes, even close our ears, and just using our hands or our feet to experience the different plants and different aspects of nature and really get a sense of what we are touching. Sometimes it's a mystery. Sometimes we don't know what we're touching if our eyes aren't open, right? But it has a story to tell. And so we can explore this sense of touch in this class with us today. So we begin all of our classes, all of our Ziraat journeys with a salutation to the elements. And again, this was given by Inayat Khan and or his Murids that carried on the Ziraat ray soon after he died. He brought this ray towards the very end of his life. And so this Ziraat Lodge is something that the lodge is kind of considered like a sanctuary, a place where we're coming in, getting ready to be in this holy place. And so I put the words in the chat window for you, and you can follow along with the words and the gestures if you wish. And with each of the elements, we'll do the breath of each of those elements. And as we're doing the breath, I would encourage you, if you wish, to do Ya Shafi and Ya Kafi. These are words of healing. Ya Shafi is the healer, and Ya Kafi is the remedy. And so as we're breathing in these elements and breathing out, we can just bring a sense of healing energy to these elements all around us and within us. So we'll begin with the breath of earth, breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. Oh, all productive earth, we humbly offer our love and respect to you. Ya Shafi, Ya Kafi. And for earth, we'll breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth. Oh, all purifying water, we willingly offer our love and respect to you. Breathing in, Ya Shafi. Breathing out, Ya Kafi. And for the breath of fire, we breathe in through the mouth, breathe out through the nose. Oh, all-consuming fire, we wholeheartedly offer our love and respect to you. Breathing in, Ya Shafi. Breathing out, Ya Kafi. And for the air, breathing in and out through the mouth. Oh, all-pervading air, we gladly offer our love and respect to you. Breathing in through the mouth, Ya Shafi. Breathing out through the mouth, Ya Kafi. And for ether, it's just a subtle, refined breath. You can almost hardly notice that you're breathing. There's no movement. There's no mantra. Just experiencing ether. Oh, ether, essence of all, we passively offer our love and respect to you. say the prayer Nayas together. It's in your chat window. Beloved Lord, Almighty God, through the rays of the sun, through the waves of the air, through the all-pervading life in space, purify and revivify me. And I pray, heal my body, heart, and soul. Amen. And to further attune to the elements, I like to bring a song that will bring us there. So let me get original sound on so you can hear me. And so we're singing to the elements, the goddess, the mother as guide, her hands and her feet, as we're focusing on touch, how we can experience the water, stone, fire, and air. The goddess is within all of those and within all of us. Seen, unseen, the goddess is wise. Seen, unseen, the mother is guide. Seen, unseen, the goddess is wise. Seen, unseen, the mother is guide. Simple hands and simple feet. Simple hands and simple feet. Water and stone and fire and air, the goddess is there. Water and stone, the fire and air, the goddess is there. Seen, unseen, the goddess is wise. Seen, unseen, the mother is guide. Seen, unseen, the goddess is wise. Seen, unseen, the mother is guide. Simple hands and simple feet. Simple hands and simple feet. Water and stone and fire and air, the goddess is there. Water and stone and fire and air, the goddess is there. Seen, unseen, the goddess is wise. Seen, unseen, the mother is guide. Seen, unseen, the goddess is wise. Seen, unseen, the mother is guide. Simple hands and simple feet. Simple hands and simple feet. Water and stone and fire and air, the goddess is there. Water and stone and fire and air, the goddess is there. Seen, unseen, the goddess is wise. Seen, unseen, the mother is guide. Seen, unseen, the goddess is wise. Seen, unseen, the mother is guide. Simple hands and simple feet. Simple hands and simple feet. Water and stone and fire and air, the goddess is there. Water and stone and fire and air, the goddess is there. Seen, unseen, the goddess is wise. Seen, unseen, the mother is guide. Seen, unseen, the goddess is wise. Seen, unseen, the mother is guide. Simple hands and simple feet. Simple hands and simple feet. Water unseen, the mother is guide. Seen, unseen, the goddess is wise. Seen, unseen, the mother is guide. Simple hands and simple feet. Simple hands and simple feet. Water and stone and fire and air, the goddess is there. Water and stone and fire and air, the goddess is there. Water and stone. Water and stone and fire and air, the goddess is there. Water and stone and fire and air, the goddess is there. Ah, yes. So I did pin my video because I think that I need to do that for the recording. So feel free to go back to gallery view if you don't want to see just me. Just wanted to let you know that's why I did that. So let's see. So touch. Just a few thoughts about touch. It's interesting to me that the word touch in our English language has been used in so many different ways. Like there's the literal tactile sense, like the Merriam-Webster definition is it's bringing a bodily part into contact so as to perceive through the tactile sense, a handle or feel gently, usually the intent to understand or appreciate. So that's the Webster definition, which I thought was kind of cool. Like that's what touch means. So it's a way of experiencing our world through physical pressure, temperature, texture, but it also has these figurative meanings. We often say that we're touched by the music, or that that's like an emotionally moving, tender way of describing our experience. Or it could also be a way of how we communicate. So we'll say, we're establishing a connection with someone, saying, let's keep in touch. So I'll probably explore this a little bit more as we get further into it and with some of the readings from Inayat Khan. But I just it's obviously such an important aspect of our human experience, obviously with how we can physically touch the world, but also touch each other, touch uh, through a deeper sense than just that tactile experience. And really, it's our skin is our largest organ of our body, and through our nerve endings, that's what gives us the information through touching and feeling. And it's we can experience pain, warmth, heat, cold, pleasure, all these amazing different ways that we can experience being in a human body through touch. And our sense of touch can be used intentionally, just as we've talked about our other senses so far with sight and hearing. Like we're experiencing the world constantly through sight and hearing, and also through touch. Obviously, our skin is always feeling something happening in the world and what's going on in our environment. But we can use this sense of touch to intentionally know and understand what's happening with our world, with our experience. And we can intentionally know joy and love and healing, and we can also intentionally give that love and healing through our touch. In fact, I was even trained in an energy work called healing touch. And so what a beautiful opportunity to use our touch to heal the world, to heal anything that we touch. We are the hands of Christ. We are the hands and feet of the goddess, experiencing and touching our world. And so there is a beautiful practice that Mershida Viracorda brought with the beautiful name of God, Yabar. Ya bar, and I'll put it in the chat window for you. So ya bar. This is the traditional names of bar is the beneficent or the good. It's a blessing. It is the loving, the one who does good. It is the kind one. And so we can bring this practice into our work of touching the world by she encouraged people to go for a walk in nature, to be in nature, and with every thing that you touch, every leaf that you touch, I can bring back here. Oh, there we go. Ya bar, and you say ya bar as you touch the world around you. And so we're gonna do ya bar 33 times um, on this wazifa. And as you do this, if you are outside and feel like you can touch things, touch the grass, touch your heart, if you're inside, you can touch your desk. Whatever it is, just have a sense of sending that blessing, that healing, that joy into anything that you are touching. So we'll do Ya Bar 33 times. Ya Bar, 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 Ya Bar. Ya bar, 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 ya bar. Ya bar, ya bar, ya bar. So I encourage you, maybe the next time you go for a walk and are outside, just bring that sense of blessing, the goodness, the loving, feeling the beauty and the blessing of what you're experiencing, but also sending that blessing as you touch it. Ya bar. So for our next part of this class, we'll have Sarah. I'm gonna pin her screen here. And oh, well,
Yeah. Just making our way to this place where we can highlight the garden here, joined by my husband Malik, who's gonna do some close-ups of some specific little areas in the garden that we're gonna explore through touch. So this is his canvas out here. He's an artist. And everything around us is intended to attract pollinators. We intentionally took out lawn and put in perennial plants to attract all kinds of pollinators, not just native honeybees. And we love watching them all. There's even a yellow jacket down there today on strawberries. And of course, when we diversified in this way to bring in an abundance of insect life, we got all kinds of textures, vast array of things that we can experience in the garden. I'm barefoot out here, you'll notice, and that's pretty typical as long as the temperature's hospitable when I'm out here. Um, Maybe not digging holes so much with a shovel, but just doing small little tasks. I also tend to work in my garden without gloves. And most people who meet me can see I don't really put any aesthetic energy into my hands and feet because for me, they are just so essential to how I experience the world. Tools that work in concert with my eyes, ears, nose, and mouth, well, all the senses. So we're going to do a little touch tour around the garden, delve into various textures, sort of how I interpret them, what I take away from them, and can think about how maybe some of these ideas might resonate with you in your own experiences in your yard or out in the world. So the first thing we're going to take a look at is our creeping thyme. And we have some that's blooming, these gorgeous purple flowers that the bees absolutely love. Then there's some that either it's a different type, we're not sure, or hasn't quite made it to that part of its life cycle. And it's just, I love walking on it, and I can't be the only one. Our younger son loves it too. It's just springy and kind of nubby and sort of like massages the feet a little bit. And it's reassuring that it doesn't get damaged really by our walking on it. It springs back, which you can see there eventually. And one of the things I think about when I, come in contact with this particular plant is that my environment is resilient. Things are resilient. The insects are, I'm resilient, and I don't really need to walk around on eggshells around these things. You know, handle them with too much care, but it's a balance. I also don't throw caution to the wind and just stomp around, particularly when there's bees down there. I don't want to just purposely step right on one. So it is with intention, it is with purpose that, I move around my garden space. Grateful for the resilience of things and it's delightful sensations that we encounter. So think about how maybe that idea resonates with you, perhaps for some later discussion. Move into the next space here, which is our answer to a lawn, our clover lawn, as they call it. And it's a mix of plants intended to provide forage for pollinators. Right now, the most noticeable um, thing is the clover, the white clover. There's also yarrow here, which is this really, really fine, feathery, delicate leaf that puts up a pretty white flower. There's some other things in there. We get daisies at certain times of year. It's kind of constantly changing, which is one thing that's interesting about it. Compared with a lawn, it is dynamic. And we love to walk on it. It's really, particularly this time of year, it's really lush. It's soft under the feet. Um, I think even more pleasant than lawn, but it's intended to be drought tolerant, so it's not we're constantly watering it. We do give it supplemental water, but there is a point in the summer when this will die back, and if it gets cut back, which we try to maintain the height so it's somewhat reasonable, it dries out and this texture is not so pleasing. It can be a little coarse, a little pokey underfoot as the things dry out. They almost kind of make sticks. So one of the things I think about is the season for everything. Everything out here in my garden, everything in nature has a season. And I don't wish for the clover to return when we have other things we're enjoying in the garden, the ripe fruits of summer. And I just try to focus on nature gifting us everything in her time and how she intends and find comfort and reassurance in that. So I encourage you to think about how that idea might speak to you, might appeal to you as we move to our next space. We'll walk down the garden path here between our raised bed garden, our perennial berry bushes. And here we're gonna visit a very classic kind of trope of philosophy of observing nature is the rose with its thorns. And this rose bush was here when we moved into the house. It's well established and it has particularly vicious thorns, I think. I, I prune this one back. And of course, I'm reminded every time this one I do wear gloves for, that everything that's beautiful has its um, ugly part, its dangerous part, even its defenses. But that's also what makes it so intriguing and endearing as well to us. Of course, this is a vastly different specimen from rose stems, long stemmed roses you might get in a floral arrangement. This one is a true expression, I think, of what nature intended. And, it's defending itself and all its appeal to animals like deer. Um, and, of course, intending to come into fruits, rose hips, and the enjoyment of those as well. So, one of the things I think about again is embracing loveliness is also a way to make peace with parts that can wound us. We can take a closer look at any avoidant behaviors we have and patterns of wounding as well, meditating on the rose bush. So think about how this idea maybe speaks to you as well, for some later conversation. We'll move to our last focal area of the garden for today to explore touch. Back down the garden path again to our raised beds. Trying to find a spot of bare soil actually because we do a lot of mulching to maintain moisture levels. And I've got a nice little patch of soil right here by the pea vines. Let me get in there. Leak. So it's shady down here. It's cool. And of course, I think we all recognize dirt can be so multi-textured, depending on its composition, the weather conditions. It can be cold or warm, moist or dry, thick and heavy, or light and fluffy. Of course, there's ideal conditions for growing plants, and many of nature's plants in their adapted environment are perfectly adapted to even poor soil conditions. For our purposes, we add amendments, of course, to improve the growing capacity. Um, yeah, I'm gonna get a reminder of all the things we add. And so, we have the ability, of course, to change our environment and make it into something that's more hospitable for us, just like we can do with the soil. So when I work in the garden, a lot of the time, as I mentioned, I don't wear gloves because I intuitively want that direct connection, that communion with the earth, which is an intuition as well. I think I don't feel things through gloves in the same way, obviously. It's harder to feel seeds. If I'm planting small seeds, it's harder to feel the roots and where they're extending. So, hands right in the soil is my preference. And one of the things I think about and think we can consider on a deeper level is the earth empowering our intuition and our inner voice if we're paying attention to it. So think about how that idea speaks to you as well as we continue our Ziraat service and may have time for some discussion at the end. Thank you for joining us in the garden. Where's Malik? and we will return here to our spot and rejoin Rahima.
Oh, thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Malik. Um, Really beautiful walk through the garden, being able to touch all these different textures. And I love the questions and thoughts you brought along with it as far as how can we bring these lessons into our lives and learn more about our world around us. How do we pay attention to that voice of intuition? How do we take a closer look at the beauty that also comes along with the thorns? And how do we bring that awareness into our lives, the beauty of the creeping time, the softness of it, uh, and then also the clover lawn. We don't want to just how are we gifted with nature and in the right time, right? So um, experiencing all of that. So I have a reading from Inayat Khan, which I'm going to attempt to cut and paste and put into your chat window. Hopefully, I have it all divided up in ways that will fit in your chat window. We'll see how it goes. So this is from The Way of Illumination, The Soul, Whence and Whither, and it's part two, Manifestation. So I love that Inayat Khan, when I, I did a word search, admittedly, about, I said touch. Like, what does Inayat Khan say about touch? And oh my goodness, does he say the word touch a lot? And it's usually in reference to the soul touching the divine. How does the soul touch the divine? The soul that is within these human bodies, how do we get past that ego and those nafs and those layers to really touch that divine, that inner being within us. And I love that he also brings the five senses into that experience. So, the fact that we're going through all of these senses, and of course today the sense of touch, but really that there's this deeper inner sense, which is our soul that's within us, that's the divine that is sensing all of these different ways of experiencing it. But we have to have this human body to experience the five senses, right? So it all works together in unison. And I feel like that's a lot of what this reading is about. So I put the first paragraph in there for you that I'll read through, and then we'll go to the next. So, the purpose of the body is to experience life fully. I'll say that again. The purpose of this body is to experience life fully. The body becomes a vehicle for the intelligence by which it is able to experience life fully. In order to make sound more audible, people build domes and other places where resonance is produced, and the voice and the words become more clear. And so, the construction of the body is intended to make all that is perceptible clear. By nature, the body is the vehicle of the intelligence or the soul by which it experiences life fully. So he said that a few times, but yeah, our soul is experiencing life fully because we have these bodies with these five senses. All right, so next paragraph. Let's see what we got here. So, but as man has lived for generations of life of increasing artificiality, he has moved farther and farther from nature. Therefore, this vehicle, which was made a perfect instrument to experience life fully, has become less and less capable of attaining that object. It is this incapability of experiencing life fully and the innate desire to experience it which makes the soul strive for spiritual attainment. What man does not know, he thinks he does not exist. So, what we don't see, must not exist. We can't touch it, must not exist. And this is to be found the origin of materialism. But the tendency towards spiritual realization remains there as an innate desire, which is consciously or unconsciously felt by every soul, whether spiritual or material. It is for this reason that even a material person has a silent craving in his heart to probe the depth of the very spiritual idea which he disowns. The work of the senses is to experience, to taste, smell, touch, hear, and see. But besides these senses, there is the inner sense, which is one sense. It is by experiencing through the different organs of the senses that this one sense becomes many senses. It is the same sense which hears, smells, tastes, feels, touches, but because it experiences life through different organs, man divides that one sense into five senses. The depth of that sense, which is the inner sense, is more subtle than one can imagine. When that sense finds a free expression, it not only experiences life more keenly through the organs of the senses, but it becomes independent of the organs of sense. It penetrates life deeply, and as Kabir says, it sees without eyes and hears without ears. The reason is this, that all exists is contained in an accommodation in the Akasha, and by being in Akasha, the nature of all things is revealing. Okay, one more paragraph. The sense of touch and of taste are grosser than the senses of sight and hearing, meaning more dense, right? Grosser. At the same time, their nature is the same. All the different sweet, sour, and salt savors and the feeling of warmth and cold are perceived by them, and they stand as mirrors in which taste and touch are reflected. Therefore, as one sees oneself reflected in the mirror, so the body stands as a mirror in which every experience of the outer life is reflected and is made clear. So I guess my takeaway, we could talk about this for hours. I feel like my takeaway from that is that, uh, well, first of all, I'm going to celebrate that we have these bodies that actually make our ability to sense the divine uh, through our five senses. But it's really all one sense, right? It's all the soul that is experiencing it, and the body just makes it all that much more perceptible, more clear, maybe even more beautiful in my experience. So, so that's our reading from a night. Thank you. Wow, time is going fast. All right, so I have a song I would like to sing, one more song, uh, because this song is all about touching. From Starhawk, she changes everything she touches, and everything she touches changes. So, in this sense, again, we are using our sense of touch intentionally to change our world. We can transform our world as the goddess working through us, through our hands, through our feet. So we'll just sing through this a few times. Oh, and I make sure I have the correct sound on. Here we go. She changes everything she touches, and everything she touches changes. She changes everything she touches, and everything she touches changes. There is a woman who rides the night sky. See how she moves, see her fingers fly. She is the weaver and we are the web. She is the spinner and we are the thread. She changes everything she touches, and everything she touches changes. She changes everything she touches, and everything she touches changes. There is a woman who rides the night sky. See how she moves, see her fingers fly. She is the weaver and we are the web. She is the spinner and we are the thread. She changes everything she touches, and everything she touches changes. She changes everything she touches, and everything she touches changes. There is a woman who rides the night sky. See how she moves, see her fingers fly. She is the weaver and we are the web. She is the spinner and we are the thread. She changes everything she touches, and everything she touches changes. She changes everything she touches, and everything she touches changes. There is a woman who rides the night sky. See how she moves, see her fingers fly. She is the weaver and we are the web. She is the spinner and we are the thread. She changes everything she touches, and everything she touches changes. She changes everything she touches, and everything she touches changes. She changes everything she touches, and everything she touches changes. She changes everything she touches, and everything she touches changes. She changes everything she touches, and everything she touches changes. She changes everything she touches, and everything she touches changes. She changes everything she touches, and everything she touches changes. There's so much power in our touch. Remember that as you touch the world, touch the nature around you. So we have about 10 minutes left. We have one more little meditation and then a closing. So I do want to allow about 5 minutes, if we can, keep it to that, of discussion. So I'm going to pause the recording, and Sarah, if there's any of the questions that you brought to us that you want to bring back, and or if there's any thoughts, questions that anyone has about what we've shared, and try to keep your sharing to about a minute so we can allow time for everyone to share with us. So let me pause this. Maybe. Maybe it's because I have it. Oh, here we go. Right. So I'm going to put this in the chat window because we're not going to do it, but I want you to know that this is another practice that you can do as you're out there working in the garden. I know today, later, I'm going to be pulling a lot of weeds and hopefully touching some soil, and just breathing in, or breathing out all that touches me. Breathing in is thine own touch. Breathing out all that touches me is breathing in thine own touch. Again, just bringing that awareness of the divine that is within us and within all that we're touching. The garden is the divine touching us as we touch it. So we'll do a closing salutation to the elements. chat window for you again. We go through it a bit quicker as we do our close, but it's just a way of bringing that awareness back again and gratitude for the elements. Oh, all productive earth, we humbly offer our love and respect to you. Oh, all purifying water, we willingly offer our love and respect to you. Oh, all-consuming fire, we wholeheartedly offer our love and respect to you. Oh, all-pervading air, we gladly offer our love and respect to you. O ether, essence of all, we passively offer our love and respect to you. We'll close with the prayer Malika. It's going to be in 2 different sections for you. We'll begin with the first section. Great Mother, infinite, eternal Lady of the Celestial Heart, you are the vast universe, the dance of the stars, the light of the sun, and the rhythm of the moon. From your body we are born, and to your heart we return. Teach us to see beauty in your creation. Help us to love you as the oceans, the rivers, the mountains, the deserts, the fields, and in the midst of humanity. Lift our spirits that we may praise you, a constant love in the ever-changing seasons. Heal and comfort us in our worldly strife. Divine Mother, Priestess, Queen, Ancient One, you hold the balance of life and death, growth and decay. Help us to trust your vision and place our destiny in your hands. Let us behold our lives through your gentle spirit. Let us know your wisdom. Fill our hearts and souls with sweet nectar of your flowing stream of grace. We stand in your glory and bow in gratitude for your blessings. Our bodies reflect your perfection as the moon reflects the sun. We ask your patience and forbearance as we learn to walk in harmony with your desire. Shine upon us your endless love, your guiding light, and the power of your infinite being. Amen. Thank you, friends. Thanks for joining our Ziraat exploration into the garden with the sense of touch. May you have that awareness of the divine as you fully experience life in this beautiful body. Okay, thank you.